World War II in 6 Minutes or Less by Carlos Ortiz Gamboa, a student of Harmony Science Academy. Before the war. It's post-World War I and the world is reconstructing from the horrors of war. The Treaty of Versailles has impacted many, but in particular Germany. Germany had been crippled from World War I, and the Treaty of Versailles had minimized her military capacity. This sent Germany spiraling into high debt and unemployment rates were soaring. So a man with a mustache decided he would do something about it. So he gave the German people a common enemy, the Jews. This would lead to hatred of the Jews, which would be followed by the Holocaust. Meanwhile, Hitler won popularity for his Nazi campaign and would become a dictator that would break the rules of the treaty. Italy. Italy is different. Italy was actually on the winning side of World War I. It actually switched sides in World War I as it changed from Central Powers to the Allies. Thing is, it did not gain much from the war and it did not accomplish their goals. Their dictator was Benito Mussolini. Japan. Japan had been isolated for about 200 years. Then the USA wanted to trade with them. They would bring capitalism and the Western countries would put unequal treaties on Japan. They decided to conquer parts of China and gain resources and win the war against Russia. They would go on to conquer more of Asia and some Pacific islands. Tripartite Pact. Germany, Italy, and Japan would sign the Tripartite Pact, naming them allies. Now other countries would also sign this pact. USA. America had been victorious in World War I but tried to avoid another war. Also, the stock market crashed leading to the Great Depression. So when war broke out, the USA was strongly against it. Though they would supply weapons to the UK, they would not join until 1943. Britain. When tensions rose, the UK appeased Germany. When Germany threatened to invade Poland, they said that they would declare war. When it started, Chamberlain, the Prime Minister at the time, thought they could still negotiate, but it was too late. France. France had still been proud of the victory in World War I and hadn't advanced much since then and was sort of behind. They didn't worry much at the Germans mobilizing their troops and the obvious tension. They were even afraid to attack them with fear of being attacked. Also, the soldiers weren't being well trained. In short, they weren't prepared. Russia. Russia had been victorious too in World War I but had a thirst for territories that had to be quenched, so when Germany offered them Polish land they accepted. This shocked many, including the Allies. They would sign a non-aggression pact stating they would help each other. A war begins. Tensions rose to a peak when Germany and Russia threatened Poland. Germany and Russia would invade Poland on September 1st, 1939. Then France, Britain, and its allies declared war on Germany. This would be the start of a hard and costly fought war. Germany's campaign. Remember when I said that France hadn't much cared? Yeah, that would come back to haunt them. During a period known as the Phony War, where not much happened after the invasion of Poland, this gave Hitler time to mobilize his troops. He would then break the line of defense set by France and the UK. He would go on to encircle them, nearly wiping them out. The Brits would make a last-minute attempt to escape at Dunkirk. The Germans would then invade the rest of France and create a puppet state called Vichy France. Then they set their sights on the ongoing campaign in Africa. This campaign was mainly Germany and Italy. African campaign. As I said, Germany and Italy were the main ones in Africa, as well as the French colonies. Many of these colonies did not join the Axis. Italy took over Abyssinia and pushed the Brits in Somaliland, which went good, but the invasion of Egypt and Greece would go bad for the Italians. Turning on Russia. Around the time of the stalemate, Germany turned on Russia. They would make much progress but would have a major setback, the Cold Winter. The specialized Siberian troops were sent and pushed back the Germans. After the winter, a decisive Soviet victory in Stalingrad would start to push them out of Russia. Back in Africa. Things were looking good for the Axis with the victory for the Allies in El Alamein, and with support from other allies including the US would push out the Axis from Africa and would go on to invade Italy from the south and make steady progress. Things were looking good for Mussolini. He became unpopular and rolled out his own council. Japan's campaign. We almost forgot about Japan, so let's rewind a bit. So Japan had annexed Korea and then invaded China and the area of Manchukuo. They would sweep through China and its then capital Nanking. It would there where they committed shocking atrocities against the Chinese people. They would also take the Philippines and islands in the Pacific. D-Day. Operation Overlord, known as D-Day, took place on June 6, 1944. This was the largest amphibious invasion in history and World War II. Troops landed in Normandy, France on the beaches of Utah, Omaha, Gold, Sword, and Juno. Taking back France. The Allies would slowly take back France. They would take Normandy, Caen, Paris, and more. Also, other Allied forces came from the south, from Italy. D-Day was in the English Channel. As they took back France, they got close to Germany. They would also take back Belgium. Germany surrenders. As the Allies neared the borders of Germany, Hitler got desperate, so he would pull the last offensive, or the Battle of the Bulge. His tactic was to do what he did in the beginning of the war. His last offensive would fail, and the Allies and Russia would take Germany, and Hitler would surrender and kill himself in his bunker. Battle in the Pacific. After Germany surrendered, Japan was left. Mainly the USA and some other countries would go through the brutal island hopping campaign and taking back the Philippines and other Asian countries conquered by Japan. The Japanese had a code of honor, kind of like never give up. This made resistance much harder. The A-bombs. It had been clear that Japan wasn't going to give up so easily, so the Manhattan Project was the solution. They had been creating a bomb that could wipe out cities. Also, Russia wasn't liberating so much as not giving them much power. Also, Russia had spies that told Russia about the bombs. So in the show of power, Little Boy and Fat Boy were dropped on Japan on August 6th and August 9th. End of the war. Japan would surrender on September 2nd, ending the war. After, Germany would be split and the islands would be returned. As this would happen, tensions would rise between Russia and the US and would result in a very cold war. Thanks for watching.